know where you're at. So click down below. Let us know what market you're coming from. So guys, we are live on Zoom. Welcome to the Mortgage Coach Tuesday interview every Tuesday, 9 o'clock, coming live to help you become the best loan officer in America and help you learn from the best, whether that's top producers, whether that's speakers, leaders. We're bringing in some of the best leaders, some of the best mortgage professionals. Today, I am going to be interviewing Jeremy Forcier. I will do a formal introduction in just a minute. Before I do that, I wanted to shine a light on a few things. One, this following Tuesday, the 26th at 9 o'clock, we're going to be doing our annual Script-A-Palooza. It's something I did for the first time with a partnership with Win by Noon and Todd Bookspan. It was the most attended, the most viewed, the most shared, the most commented, the best event we did last year, where we invited over 10 industry leaders, top producers. They all close over 100 loans annually. Some of them close over 300, 400. Lead branches that close over 1,000. So some of the most successful referral-based mortgage professionals in America will be sharing their best scripts. So we'll be bringing in top producers and asking them to share one or two of their scripts that we think they're the best of the best at. So don't miss that. I am going to share my screen real quick. I just want to make sure you guys know how to sign up, how to be part of that. We have sold it out on Zoom. So really, it's going to be broadcasted live in the Mortgage Coach Facebook group. You can see my screen right now. There's a place, if you want to get a reminder, click here. And it will be broadcasted on Facebook Live in our group. Mortgage Coach, Productivity Mastermind. That is the place to go. That is the place where the best loan officers in America get better. So be ready to rock that out. Also, I want to show on our YouTube channel. Last week, Dan Keller on Tuesday, 9 o'clock, interviewed Jeremy, who I could tell joined us. What's up, big dog?
Hey.
Hey. I will bring you into the conversation in less than a minute, so be ready to rock. Of course, you're always ready, right?
I'm ready, bro.
Yeah, right. So this call has already been watched almost 700 times. It was all about how to convert more realtors. So don't miss that call. Check it out. I'm going to ask Jeremy some scripts on realtors, but this is where the money is. Also, anyone who loves Jeremy and you love the scripts that he does, realize we've got a playlist. So all of my best interviews with Jeremy, there's a playlist at our YouTube channel. So check it out. So let's bring the man, the myth, the legend. If you're a brand new loan officer and you're like, who's this Jeremy dude? First of all, he's my friend. That should be enough. But if that's not enough, it's one of America's most successful loan officers. I think, Jeremy, literally every time you speak, whether it's a sales mastery, a mastermind, you are the top rated speaker. So you're the man, bro.
Thanks, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. How many years have you done over 100 million in production as a producer?
So last 5 years in a row, I've averaged 105,411,000.
So you know how to do a loan here and there.
Yeah.
and then you have evolved your career to where you also coach loan officers. How many loan officers over 50 million have you coached and mentored?
Oh gosh. Let's see. 12 times 2 times 4. So 24 times 4. So just under 100.
So guys, we're talking about a guy who's played at a really high level, who is coached and mentored at a high level. And then someone that every time I do an interview, it's among the most watched, most viewed, and I get the most comments. So Jeremy, with no further ado, let's just riff on scripts. I position this scripts. I've got a bunch of posts. So for everybody who posted like, hey, I want Jeremy to talk about this, thank you. So before I ask you a specific script, I've had a couple people comment and just saying, oh, the best script is when you have a natural conversation.
Yeah.
Kind of like, while you and I both believe words matter, structured conversations matter, why don't you speak to that? And then let's get into some actual scripts.
So I'm so glad that whoever posted that brought it up, because you have to be smart enough to know that when we talk about scripts, you're talking about like the blueprint of art and science, right? So the science part is the script, what to say, the word to use. The art part is weaving it into conversations. Like that is the most important part. So when I'm going over scripts, I wish there was a different word for it, but there's not. It really does come down to how you're choosing when to weave that in, and how you're using it. It's not just reading like a piece of paper here in front of me when you're talking to someone, but that is a great way to start. So I'm going to contradict myself now, which I'm professional at, and we're all walking contradictions, which is okay. So I do believe that that's the art part. That takes longer to develop. Okay, so now let me contradict myself. You will do better. You will close more loans. You will get more deals, get more traction, even if you are just literally reading a script. Just from the activity of doing it, you will get more results than not doing it. So the reason why I wanted to contradict myself is that if you're super adverse to scripts, like I don't want to sound a robot, I can't do that, you're exactly the person I'm talking to, and you should start doing it exactly that way, because you have to have a starting point. It's not like I was always just great at scripts. It was that I did read from scripts before. I absolutely, man. But the key when you really start getting good at it is knowing that you have a playbook of things that you can go to in your mind, that you have practiced over and over and over again, that you can then harness in a moment where you can weave it into a conversation. So I think that's the most important part, Dave, is that let's just call them dialogues rather than scripts, but they are scripts, right?
Yeah. So my 2 cents on that is I don't care whether you call them dialogues. I don't care whether you call it a structured conversation.
Yep.
I use the word talking points a lot. So coming to the conversation, what are the talking points going to be? But here's what I know for sure. Not only will you have a better conversion, not only will you make more money as a salesperson, you will deliver more value to the families and the partners you serve if you learn the power of words, learn the power of structured conversations. Scripts matter. All right, let's get into it. And anybody who wants to challenge that, bring it on, because that's, that's what we're all about here. Bring on the challenge or ask a question. So Jeremy and I have a lot of scripts we want to talk about, but before we do that, we want to reward everyone who made a comment in our Facebook post. So when I promoted this call, Edgar said, "Hey, scripts for stopping by realtors' offices and scripts for stopping by open houses." So Jeremy, give us some ideas there.
Cool. So once again, in full disclosure, when Dave was prepping for this call, he was like, "So hey, how do you want to structure it? What scripts do you want to cover?" And I told Dave, "Hey, I want to freestyle, man. I want to go right off the top. I want to answer questions. I'm not going to reference documents that I have right now, which you will all get, by the way. There are lots of documents and scripts. But I think that this is the important part that I was talking about, is this is a real scenario. You get a question, you are somewhere, you got to figure it out. Like, how do I weave it in?" So let's start with the stopping by a real estate office. So the preparation is important. And when I say preparation, is that if you're just literally stopping by a real estate office, I think that's a mistake. I really do. And here's what I mean by that is that, because I want to give you context to this script, okay, is that if you're stopping by a real estate office, either number one, you better know someone in there, okay? You better know someone in there. Figure out how you can know someone. And if you don't know someone, know of someone and make a contact so that you're stopping by for a specific reason to talk to someone. Because many real estate offices have gatekeepers, right? Many real estate offices have gatekeepers. So number one is figure out if you know someone in the office that you can reference when you go in. Number two is that if you don't know anyone and you're just doing a pop-in, make sure that you have something of value. Whether it's, do I have one right here? I don't. It's out there. But like I have like nail files that say my name on them, cross-country more, like stupid stuff like that. Like bring something, bring a flyer, bring something of value, so that you have something to talk about when you're going in. So the script has a lot to do with the setup, right? Like, why are you just stopping in? If you're just stopping in, like lots of weak loan officers do, in my opinion, and they're doing the donut drop and they don't know anyone in there, save your $8, man. Like do a little bit of preparation. So let's go into some scripts, okay? So if you're stopping by a real estate office and the context is you know someone or some person in the office, number one is I always call when I'm on my way to the office, okay? So for example, I'm going to an office after this and I'm going to call David and say, and whether he answers or not, hey David, it's Jeremy Forcier, Cross Country Mortgage. I'm gonna stop by your office in 15 minutes. Hopefully you have a few minutes. If you don't, I'm gonna leave some materials for you. Talk to you later, bye, right? So I show up to the office, which I'm going to do at 10:15 a.m. my time, and I have something to bring with me, right? Like I have a folder with some information ready for David, who I talked to last week on the phone that I'm trying to court. So number one would be, that is the script. Now, when you're in the office, right, and you're in the office, the script, if you're trying to get around a gatekeeper, should always be, hey, I have an appointment with X. I just left him a voicemail to make sure he was available. Could you check in with him or her for me? Okay. So when you're dealing with a gatekeeper, you have to not lie, because that's why you call first. Hey, I'm popping in to see David, right? I just left him a voicemail. All true statements, you guys, all true statements. And then I would go into having that person go and try to find David. Now, if that person was unavailable, that's why you have to come with something so you can leave them something, okay? It's very, 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 very important. But I don't think that just stopping into a real estate office unannounced, where you don't know anyone or don't have a relationship, is effective at all. I really don't. I don't think it's, yeah.
Beautiful. So if you have more questions on that, let us know. Preparation matters. Leveraging other, relationships matters. So what about scripts for stopping by open houses?
Yeah, so stopping by open houses is pretty simple. Number one, you could once again be prepared. You could bring a lunch bag with a power bar and a water. You could bring marketing materials. Come prepared with something for the agent, right? Or come prepared with a list of people that you have pre-approved, so that when you're walking around, here's a great script, by the way, okay? If you just print up a list, right, of people from your database that are pre-qualified or pre-approved, and you have that printed out, and you walk in, you introduce yourself, hey Dave, I'm Jeremy Forcier with Cross Country Mortgage, how are you? Oh, I'm doing fine, whatever. Awesome, hey, this seems like a great house. I'm gonna go ahead and just take a look around, because I have a list of pre-approved buyers right here that I wanna reference and see maybe if this house would be a good fit, okay? Now, the reason why I love that script, number one, it's disarming. You're not going in saying, hey, how's the open house? Hey, any people coming through? Hey, so do you have a loan for me? Like, you can disarm them with, hey, and this is subconscious, by the way. So remember, the script is, hey, I'm Jeremy Forcier, Cross Country Mortgage. How's everything going? I'm just walking through with a list of people that I have that are pre-approved. I'm just checking out houses for them to see maybe if it's a good fit for one of my buyers. So subconsciously, what that does to the agent is they're like, damn, my loan officer definitely does not do that, okay? Like, and then they're gonna ask you a question. Like, oh, that's cool. So do you do this often? Yeah, whenever I have a free hour or two, I go around and just check out places and whatnot. I think it's really important right now that I work with a team. So team effort with all the people that I'm partnered with as far as real estate agents go, because I know your guys' job is hard enough as it is. Okay, that's script number two, okay, for that. Once again, subconsciously, holy shit, my loan officer doesn't do that, right? You're getting them interested. Remember, you have to, when you go fishing, Dave, what works better? A really wiggly worm and lure, or just some dead piece of crap that's in the water?
Wiggly worm.
Yeah, wiggly worm.
Well, dry flies are pretty good, man. I'm a fly.
Well, I hear you. Don't go fly fishing. Don't go specific with me, right?
I'm not a bait fisherman, man, so I'm sorry. But I did answer it for you.
In general, right? The parallel that I'm trying to make is that a wiggly worm is better than a dead worm, right? So you want a wiggly worm And you do that by showing value, right? Now, as you walk through the house and you come back out, you say, hey, it was great. Great to meet you, etc. Hey, do you have any more listings coming on the market, and in what price points are they? Okay.
Great
Do
questions.
you have any more listing? If you notice so far, Dave, and everyone on the call, I haven't asked for anything yet, right? I haven't asked for any, 3 scripts, haven't asked for anything. Hey, do you have any listings coming on the market? What price ranges are they? Maybe I can jot them down and cross-reference my list, right? So ask another question. They may tell you. That's when you get the opportunity to close. Hey, Dave, thank you so much for letting me walk through the open house. I'm sure you get lots of mortgage people that come through here and are asking for loans and looking for leads. You seem like a great person. If you'd like to have a cup of coffee, I'd be honored to meet with you and teach you more about this strategy.
Boom. So much gold, guys. You know, and scripts matter, strategy matters. I mean, not only are you getting great scripts, you're getting great strategy here. So guys, keep it coming. Remember, we're doing Scriptapalooza next week, Tuesday. We'll be crushing it with scripts. I would like to know from everybody if there was one script you want Jeremy to cover next Tuesday in Scriptapalooza, what would that be? So let's go to the next one on the list here. Remember, guys, if I am going to the people that made comments. So Edgar said, how do you position yourself with jumbo borrowers who you know are going to shop you against retail? Thoughts on that, Jeremy?
Okay, so context is important. So you guys, the more context you can give me, I think it's going to be easier for me to give you what you want. And just so you know, that goes with anything, with borrowers, with realtors. Like, context is important. So I'm going to do my best to answer that. But maybe if you could jot down even more context, it would be important. Like, for example, you already know that they're talking to XYZ, or, you know, because the reality is, number one, I don't think that you should go into anything thinking that you're going to be shopped.
So time out, Jeremy. I want to read this other one too, just because I think it's going to give more context, and I'm also going to give you some of my context on this. But here's another question, similar to Edgar's. Any additional scripts on how to handle clients who are part of a big bank wealth management, and they'll get reduced rates on their portfolio and you know they're going to go with big bank. So given that, you know, where you just know that this is, you know, what I'm reading in between the lines here is I know it's jumbo, where I may not be strong, and I know that they're going to have options that are going to have lower rates than me. Ideas, strategies, scripts.
Cool. So number one is that I never assume that I'm going to lose, ever. Ever. Straight up, ever. You can ask every single person in my office. They know that about me. I think I have a chance every single time, and I don't acknowledge competition. I don't believe that any of you on this call are my competition, and you should feel the same way about everyone else. I believe that I am the right answer for a wonderful experience, to make sure that they're going to get exactly what I tell them, and it's going to be the best possible deal that I can put together for their needs. Okay, so that's my strategy mindset, like strategy. As far as like dealing with it, you guys, once again, I'm going to talk about strategy and then I'll go into scripts. I live in a jumbo market, okay? I do $130,000 loans, but I also do $1.6 million loans, okay? So I run the whole gamut, and when you know that you're gonna have heavy competition, I don't think it's good enough, by the way, for you just to close your eyes and think you're better if you're 0.5% in rate higher. I just don't. I think that it's a mistake that I see lots of people make. So for me, strategically, I have a max compensation cap that I put on that allows me to be extremely competitive. My jumbo rates, I think, are really, really good anyway. And I'm also willing to do the work, okay? So let me talk about willing to do the work in a specific scenario that I had last week, okay? I'm gonna leave this gentleman's last name out, but his name's Ben. He's a real client. Ben happens to be not only a financial advisor with Wells Fargo, but he happens to be a manager of wealth advisors at Wells Fargo as well. And Mr. Ben is a past client of mine. So let's just rewind that for a second again. I've done 3 loans for this individual over the last 6 years. Interesting. That person can get an 8th rate discount just by using his bank. Okay. Interesting. That person also knows that it is a pain in the ass to work with such bank. And I'm not, listen, everyone can do loans good. Maybe he had a bad experience with an individual. Okay. All banks have good people. Mortgage places have good people. They have bad people. All right. But you need to know the context of what you're getting into. So when I had this annual review call, I told him I think it's a great idea to take a look at a rate and term refinance because he bought 2.5 years ago on a jumbo 10% down. Now is 20% equity. Rates look really good. I think we should take a look at a refinance. So when I'm on the phone with this individual, he says, hey, yeah, you know what? I appreciate the call. I had looked into my options, right, internally. Okay, I looked into my options internally, and it looks like I can get, you know, around 4%, right? Because the advertised jumbo rate today is 4.125%. And I said, so my script back, and once again, dialogue, script, whatever you want to call it, is totally, man. As you know, man, I represent that product as well. And I'd be more than happy to go through the options because I think sometimes things just aren't what they seem. And you know you're going to have a great experience with me. So I'd love the opportunity to just look through the numbers. He said, okay. So what did I do next, Dave? I logged on to Wells. You guys know that all banks post their rates online, right? Like you go on their website and you can look at them. So I was on the call with him and I said, hey, I'm going to log on to Wells right now just to double check and make sure that you're getting the right info. Logged on, clicked on the jumbo. Sure enough, it said 4 1/8. He gets an 8th discount, right? As an employee, it's 4%. I go, that's cool. I said, here's what's really interesting to me, Mr. Ben, is that I noticed here, and I shared my screen with him on a Zoom conference when I'm doing this, okay? I noticed that this line right here says points and fees of $12,198. I also noticed that it says 75% in this scenario loan quote. We're at 80%. I said, what's interesting is that I just priced it out at 80%, and we're at 4.25%, but that doesn't have any of the $11,000 in fees. Furthermore, I really think that you should be doing 4.5% with no closing costs because in the next 18 months, I think you're going to have another opportunity to redo this. So it doesn't make sense to pay any of the fees and whatnot right now. Okay. His answer, and he's used to getting mortgage coaches from me, by the way, right? He's worked with me for 6 years. His answer was, hey, you know what, dude, that's awesome, man. You always do the work. I showed it to him on the screen, and he said, and I quote, why don't we just go ahead and lock it in? You don't even have to send me one of your spreadsheet and videos. I completely understand. You guys, don't be afraid to do a little extra work. Don't be afraid to look in the details. Things are not as good as they always seem. That is a fact. And people get caught up in the rate thing. They don't look at fees. Yes, there's probably going to be someone typing right now. But if they have $400,000 tied up, I get it. So, hey, Dave, I would love to do your loan as well. Here's the good news is that you're never going to be held hostage or treated as a slave if you work with me. I'm not going to require you to put $500,000 of your assets that you've worked really hard to get and to do what you want with your life to get a 0.25% lower in rate because you're likely going to redo the loan anyway. But it's up to you. I completely understand you have to do what's best for your family.
Boom. Script.
Right?
Guys, did you hear that? Script, strategy. Did you guys connect the dots that Jeremy was doing an annual review? So, I mean, all of this stuff, by the way, it works because he does it.
Yeah. That's a good point, Dave. That was based off of an annual review voicemail, follow-up email with answering the 7 questions, emailed back, annual review, boom, structured appointment, boom, $707,000 rate and term refi.
Yeah,
so,
but you can only do that because you do it. You hustle,
yeah.
you prospect, you're doing annual reviews, you're delivering total cost to your families. You're doing this stuff. So that's the other point I want to make for everybody. Part of why Jeremy's scripts are so great. I mean, one, they are really smart. They're really great words. They're really on point. They're incredibly strategic, but he does the work and he does it a lot. So he gets really, 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 really good at it.
Hey, Dave, if I could go 2 more scripts around this to give people 2 different scenario contexts.
Please.
So that's one example, right? Of like, someone is shopping already. right? Other examples would be things like, let's say that you know someone's a high net worth client, okay? One thing that I do a lot is I point them in a different direction where I have no benefit, and it truly no benefit. Give you a great example, okay? Another client who I'll just call Mr. J, okay, has a pretty significant portfolio with Charles Schwab, all right? It's managed professionally, all of that. Wants to get a bridge loan, right, which he totally qualifies for, to purchase his new house before he sells his other one. When I was looking through his portfolio, he had brought up a couple times, hey, Charles Schwab has a deal with Quicken. By the way, you guys know that's BS. It's an MSA agreement. There's no special loan. Straight up, there's not. It's marketing, and it's good marketing. And I give them props for that, but it's marketing, okay? So we went through the whole thing, and instead of addressing that, what I said was, hey, that's great. Of course, I want to look at all your options, but you know, Mr. J, I don't even think that you need any lender. And he said, oh, why? Like, I don't want to liquidate my cash, right? That was his whole thing. I don't want to liquidate my cash. Don't want to pay taxes on that just to purchase the house I'm going to pay back. And I said, this is someone with significant assets, you guys, like 3 million plus, okay, liquid, managed. I said, have you ever heard of a margin loan? And if you guys haven't heard it, I'll explain it. He said, no. And I go, yeah, you can borrow up to 50% of the value of your managed account, and you can have that money in 2 days. It's a loan to yourself against your assets, and you can pay cash for this property. And then when you sell your house, you can just go ahead and pay it back. Okay? I have no benefit in that personally, but it is true. Here's the hook though, okay? He was all excited. Oh my gosh, that's incredible, right? I said, awesome. Would you mind introducing me to your financial planner? I can make this really easy and talk about the strategy with them. Because listen, financial planners don't like to do that because they don't get paid while that margin is there. But I'm taking that off the table. Hey, you want to introduce me? I'm happy to talk to him. I can get a contact and appointment out of that. But then here's the big hook. So he's all excited. Yep, I'm going to introduce. I go, hey, but there is something else to consider. Okay. If you do it that way, your new loan on your property is not going to be tax deductible. And he stopped and went, okay. I said, I see that you're in a higher tax bracket. What I'd recommend is that we look at all options and just compare them to make sure you're going to have the highest tax deductibility, the lowest cost, knowing what your short, intermediate, and long-term goals are. He said, that's great. How do I do that? I have this really easy to fill out customer questionnaire, loan application, really easy to fill out customer questionnaire. Okay, to have a list of documents. If you get them to me, I'll do a complete portfolio review and present you with some options. He said, that sounds great. Didn't hear about the Quicken thing. Didn't hear about Charles Schwab anymore. He applied. I closed. I got the loan. Done. So you have to know where to go in the conversations and point people to what's in their best interest without saying, hey, in your best interest. That's where we go wrong, you guys. We go to this default thing like we have to prove that we're honest. Just be effing honest. Okay, just be honest.
And be an expert. You know, I mean,
yeah.
you know this because you've hustled, man. You've done $100 million in loans 5 straight years.
Yeah.
So you know a lot.
That's another example, right? Now, if someone can get an unbelievable, crazy, screaming deal that you totally can't compete with, that will happen from time to time, it's real simple. It's just educating them that, hey, yeah, they can offer that type of stuff, because really they're just like looking at your assets and they're subsidizing it. You're subsidizing. I say that all the time. You're subsidizing the lower interest rate, the below market interest rate. So if you can get it, it might make more sense for you. But what I'd recommend, period, is that we do a dual application, because I can get you set up to purchase with no contingencies, which I know they can't, close extremely fast. And if you need to be competitive, I'm going to be your person, regardless if you can save, $100 a month in a monthly payment.
Love it. Love it. So guys, keep the scripts coming in. I wanted to shine a light on this interview I did with Aaron Coker 4 days ago. In this interview, it was a mortgage strategy interview, and he talked about 2 different total cost analysis strategies, where there was a family who wanted to buy a home, needed to be non-contingent. They hadn't sold their home, and he shared a recast strategy, a credit line strategy. And I do believe with the amount of equity that's out there right now, one of the places where everybody on this call, everybody who's watching this could shine is coming up with great conversations they have with move-up buyers where they can buy a new home, non-contingent, and you can be an expert at presenting them with options and providing clarity. So homework assignment to everyone watching this, watch this Aaron Coker interview from 4 days ago. It's incredible. By the way, Jerry, let's also, sometime in the next 2 weeks, let's you and I do a mortgage strategy interview on move-up buyers.
Okay.
So think of a couple TCAs where you helped a move-up buyer do something non-contingent, and you and I could do a bit of a class on that. You cool?
Okay.
All right, guys, so here's another script. We're 32 minutes into this. We got more scripts. If you want us to cover yours, get it posted. What are some ideas on voicemails? And feel free to give strategic advice on, when you text, voicemail, all the different ways you get someone, a client, so I'm assuming they mean a borrower, to call you back.
Cool.
What are your thoughts on that?
So I'm assuming the context of this is that the person is not getting back to you. Okay. Is not getting back to you.
A hot deal that's gone cold. How do we re-engage?
Cool. So number one is if you're going to use email, subject line is very important. Okay. Subject line is very important. So my script in a subject line would be something like must read ! In all caps. Or a subject line script would be call me today, huge opportunity for you. These are things that I do, right? Or the subject line would be now is the time for you to save big, call me, right? So those are email subject line scripts that I use a lot. As far as like content in an email or a text, email and text are the same thing to me, you guys, just so you know. So a subject line in a text, just so you know, would be a single message sent that says like must read and then another one under. Just quick tip for you guys, okay? Like you don't want to put must read and then have a long thing. I won't even read that, just so you know. I'm like, ugh.
Nobody will.
Yeah, nobody will. So tip is like subject line in a text would be just the same as a subject line you would put in an email and hit send. And then like, hey, the market has really moved in a positive way. Don't know how long it's going to last. Would love to review your options today. When is the best time to get in touch with you? Okay. So I do revert to text only when people are cold, personally. Okay. When people are ghosting me, text works really good. If someone is not getting back to me or someone on my team, I will hop on the phone, I will email them, and I will text them immediately. So the voicemail might be if it's a contract, right, where the borrower hasn't decided what they're going to do or who they're going to use, or they need to order an appraisal and they haven't acknowledged the disclosures yet, and it's a 3-week close, whatever. Like my voicemail would be, hey, Dave, it's Jeremy Forcier from Cross Country Mortgage. Please get back in touch with me today, either way, if we're moving forward on the loan or not, because from a compliance standpoint, I have to decline your loan. Keyword, I have to decline, okay? I have to decline your loan, all right? Hope you're having a great day. Let me know when a good time to connect is. Right?
No one wants their loan declined.
You know? No one wants to be declined from anything.
Yeah, right?
I want the power of I'm walking away from it. I've gone in a different direction. You use the word decline, not approved. You know, you're going to get disclosures that say that your loan was canceled. I don't want that to happen. That's really important. Okay, so using
last chance stuff.
Yeah, last chance stuff.
And this stuff you've hit him a few times. What about Jeremy? I know I use often where I've tried to get a hold of him, where in the text feature I'm either doing an audio note or sometimes even just doing a quick video. Now again, this is after I haven't been able to get him on the phone, and I'm, we're getting to last chance here. Do you ever use video, audio to try to, get your message to a hot lead and to get them re-engaged?
Honestly, I don't. I don't, because the easiest barrier is a text. Most people will respond to a text So if someone won't respond, maybe I should try that actually.
Well, whatever. I mean, we're riffing here, man.
Yeah.
And this is we're harvesting your best practices. Everybody on this call, I also think like there's an escalation. You know, there's the vague, hey, let's get on the phone and talk. Hey, it's been 2 weeks. And then there's an escalation. And the other thing I'm hearing from Jeremy is that when it's getting to a point that he wants someone, he's incredibly direct and he's multi-channel hitting them.
Yep.
You know, voice, text, email. So I think we've covered that. If you guys have more questions on that, let us know.
Cool.
But I think the most important thing, guys, multi-channel reach outs. Don't just, I emailed them 3 times, they wouldn't respond to me. No, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
That's not what the best of the best do. So here's one. Angela NG said, we have a ton of new construction in my area, and the new house lenders are offering $8,000 credit towards closing costs. I can't even come close to getting them a better rate. Any ideas, Jeremy?
Yeah, so number one is that the lender is not offering that. The builder is offering that to use the lender. Okay, that's a hard thing to overcome. All right, so what I have done, give you an example. This is a builder. Hey, met with them. Guess what? They have an in-house lender. Guess what? Their in-house lender sucks. But they have this agreement, right? So I went and met with them and said, hey, so here's the thing. I know that you guys have this stickiness clause. What I'm offering you is that I will not only guarantee the EMD, or I'll guarantee an on-time close, or I will pay you, the seller, the builder, $1,000 a day. So all I'm asking for is to give me a shot. I can show you that my process is going to be better, but I need you to honor my buyers' pre-approval letters from me. Okay, I need you guys to honor my buyers' pre-approval letters from me with that same cost credit, but here's what I'm going to promise you. So you got to go directly to the builder. All right, you got to go directly to the builder, to the salespeople, and try to do it that way. Hey, I guarantee my borrower's EMD money. Hey, I guarantee an on-time close, or I pay you $1,000 a day. Of course, subject to completion, right? Certificate of occupancy, things like that. So you have to be bold in going after. You can't compete from a rate standpoint, or really you're talking about a lender credit standpoint, a seller credit standpoint. You can't compete on that unless you go to the person you're competing with. So go to the builder, right? Go to them directly. Hey, these are the things I want to offer. I want my buyers to be able to buy in yours, and I'm going to provide you extreme value. And I just want an agreement with you that my buyers can use me and get the same credit. Where the mistake happens usually is we go in and we try to become the new lender, okay? Like right out of the gate, which is a long-term strategy, of course. But we go in thinking that we're going to sway them to be, we're going to be the new in-house person. All you want is to get an agreement that they will accept your pre-approval letters, and this is what you promise, okay? So that would be my script and strategy on that. As far as the buyers are concerned, they're going to force those people to get pre-approved with their in-house lender. It's just a fact, okay? If I was the lender in that relationship, I would want that in my contract as well. It doesn't mean they have to use them, right? So you have to go after the person that controls the money and the credits, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, great advice. And remember, guys, you cannot win them all. You know, you are going to lose some loans, and we're covering best practices to optimize your conversion, to optimize your chances of winning the most loans. Love the strategy. Get out there, get after it. Also, Colton added some thoughts on that. Colton, thank you for jumping in, adding value. Great feedback. So here's one where we're kind of shifting here, but how about some simple first-time calls to prospective agents to send a appointment? Maybe a couple with an agent that pushes back because they already have a lender. And I do want to remind everybody in this call, Jeremy and I have done this before. I'm going to put a link down below to some of that. So this is not the first time I've asked Jeremy to do this script. So he's probably going to do it a little different. If this is something that you're dealing with, and by the way, everybody deals with this, so we can never over practice, over study how to handle this script. And I don't think, Jeremy, you and I should ever ever stop doing this script because it's the cornerstone to success.
And never. I agree. And it'll evolve. Remember, all of these scripts are going to become your own because you're going to figure out, it's just the format is what's important, right? The format is really important. So context on this one would be someone who knows of you already or someone who doesn't know you at all. Dave, what do you think?
Let's do both. Let's start with doesn't know you at all. Pure
okay,
cold
cool.
call.
So I'm going to call, easiest way to do this is the role play. Okay, guys?
Boom.
Dave, I'm calling you. Ring, ring, ring.
What's up?
Oh, what's up? I like the intro, Dave. This is Jeremy Forcier from Cross Country Mortgage. How are you, man?
I'm good. Dave Savage with X Mortgage.
Nice, man.
Or X Real Estate. X Real Estate.
I was going to say, man, if you were a mortgage person, I must have misdialed. So appreciate you picking up the phone. Purpose of my call is to schedule a 10 to 15 minute appointment with you to show you how I can help you close 3 extra transactions this year.
You know, Jeremy, I've heard about you by reputation. I'm really busy, and I do have a preferred lender already, but I really appreciate the call, bud.
It does not surprise me that you already have a preferred lender. I think great agents are always hooked up with great lenders because it is a relationship business. That is exactly the reason why I'm calling you. I'm not looking for referrals. I'm not looking for anything from you, but I do want to show you how our process works. That way, when you get our pre-approval letters, we could have a competitive advantage and you'll know exactly what your sellers are going to get with a guaranteed close and what that means to your seller. So I'm just looking for 15 minutes to go over the process, how it works, show you so that you can be really confident with our letters in the marketplace on your listings.
Well, someday I might be willing to take someday I'll meet you. I'm just really busy right now. I just took a listing. I've got to get one ready.
Oh my God, I feel so bad for you, Dave. You're so busy doing business. I get it, man. I mean, that is why I'm calling you. So I understand, hey, you might be tied up this week. What does next week look like for you?
Jeremy, you know, you are just putting the clothes on me. I really can't commit this week or next week. I'm just too busy right now.
That's cool. So all I ask as a favor is that if you see one of my pre-approval letters coming on this new listing that's coming across, that you give me a call so I can actually explain the process to you. And then I'll follow up with you, in the coming weeks and months. And I'd love to get together when the time permits. Okay.
Okay, good. So let's say on the second, so it sounds like you're going to do 2 jabs. You're not going to do 3 because now you're going to start getting annoying. So notice, guys, he kind of like tried to close. They dodged it. He took another jab. He didn't take a third. Now, let's say I would have said, okay, next week, just give us the quick closing on how you're going to wrap that up.
Awesome. So let me know what days are good for you. I'm looking at my calendar right now. It looks like I have time at Monday at 10, Tuesday at 11, Wednesday at 12, Thursday at 1, or Friday at 2 p.m. Which one works best for you?
So notice, guys, he gave 3, 4 options. Which one works best? So let's say I confirmed it. So, hey, Wednesday at whatever that time is you told me.
All right, cool. I'm just going to shoot you a quick email with the information. Would you like to come to my office or would you like me to come to yours?
Ooh, check him out, guys. He's pushing for either office. Jeremy, I'm really busy, as I told you earlier, so I'm going to have you come to mine.
Okay, great. Well, I look forward to seeing your operation and your team, see how you operate. So that'll be great. I'll see you at your office at 2 p.m.
How many people would come to your office, Jeremy? What percentage of people do you get to come?
Let's see. Look at last week. Last week I met 4 in my office and I met 5 outside of the office.
So guys, powerful. Now remember, Jeremy has been getting after it for years. He has confidence. If you're brand new in the business, I still push you to have that script, drive that script, invite him to your office. But if you don't have the batting average Jeremy does, don't get discouraged.
So by the way, there's pros and cons to both. Okay, I love meeting people for the first time in their office, just because I'm building a little bit of rapport, and there's a 50% chance that they're going to flake on you anyway. So when I'm flaked on, I love to be in a position of opportunity to meet other agents. Okay, so if it's in their office, you might run into someone. You can do a little research ahead of time. Hey, do I know anyone else that works in this office? You can be prepared with a plan B. The benefit to them meeting you in your office is I love to give them a quick tour. Okay, so I give people a quick tour of like, hey, thanks for coming in. Hey, I want to let me just walk you around a little bit so I can introduce you to a couple people. It'll give you context to what I'm going to go over with you so you can see who does what on the team and why it's so productive and beneficial for you and your buyers and sellers. So that's why I like, if they will come to my office, that's an anchoring technique that I have. And that's a script I just gave you guys, right? So that's great. It works both ways. Just always be prepared to be flaked on, and always be prepared mentally to know that that is a good thing, because there's this awesome thing called guilt, okay, that works really, really well. So when someone flakes, I don't confirm my appointments ever, you guys, a day in advance, ever. Big mistake, ever. I'm a grown man. I am professional. I make an appointment and I be where I'm supposed to be, okay? So it's a subconscious tactic, but it works. Because here's what happens to me a third plus of the time. People don't show up. Okay, if I'm at a Starbucks, they get a picture. I let 15 minutes go by. I'm working on other stuff. Okay, 15 minutes goes by. I have a cup of coffee that I'm drinking. I write their name on my coffee, and I take a picture of it, and I text it to them. Hey, Michelle, this happened to me last week. It's Jeremy Forcier, wondering if you forgot about me. And it's a picture of the cup of coffee with their name written on it. Okay. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I had a women's council event. I don't know how I missed it. I get all the same stuff, you guys, as everyone else, right? But guess what? I closed on that appointment for the next day. And I just got back 45 minutes of my life that I desperately need to prospect. So don't worry about getting flaked on. Use those scripts, use those tactics, techniques, book as many appointments as you can.
Love that, guys. And remember, folks, we've got a playlist on Jeremy's scripts. I want to make sure we cover the seller buy down. While rates have come down a little bit, may not be quite as hot, but I want everybody to see a couple things here. So one, within the videos that we do, if you go down to the description, it's not uncommon where there'll be a link to an actual sample total cost analysis. So by the way, Jeremy, how often are you delivering a total cost analysis to your clients? What percentage of your clients get one of these?
98%. I mean, almost as close to 100% as you can possibly get.
So takeaway there, guys, not only is it a better presentation, but it's part of Jeremy's superpower. This is why he's so confident that you can't get a better lending experience than an experience with me, because he keeps his promises. He has a great team. He hustles, and he delivers the absolute best educational consumer experience there is. So quick script. This is a total cost analysis on a specific mortgage strategy, seller buy down. I think this particular link you were sending out to a lot of realtors, but give us a quick script on how and when you bring a total cost analysis into your realtor conversations, if you don't mind.
Sure. So number one is that I include the realtor on every single total cost analysis that I send the buyer. I include the realtor on every single total cost analysis that I send the buyer. So they're getting all of it, right? I'm going to a meeting after this, right, with a group of RE/MAX agents where the head team lead has said in the meetings, hey guys, I started working with Jeremy. I don't know if you know this, but he creates a specific video and presentation for everyone, and I didn't have to guess what the borrower was approved for, right? So know the value, like, of creating those. So I bring them into it all the time. If they have a specific scenario that they're trying to figure out, like on Sunday, someone emailed me, hey, this HOA, they're saying that you can't get conventional financing in it because one person owns more than 10% of the units, non-warrantable, whatever, right? So what I did was created a TCA and just showed them that, hey, here's if we can do a conventional loan in there, because you could get a waiver if it's owner occupied. And if they have great credit, the algorithm could create like a limited review waiver and it might be fine. A lot of people don't know that, so be the expert, right? Then in the second column, it was, hey, here's worst case scenario if they can't. Absolutely, we still have financing options. Here's what the differences look like, right? So I'm using it a lot for specific scenarios with the agents as well. Not afraid to share that with them. I'm not afraid to go through specific scenarios in my office, on my phone, on my iPad in front of them. Yeah, so I don't know how else to answer. I use it all the time. I'm always bringing it into the conversation.
So think of it this way, guys. It's a communication platform. And when it comes to communicating about rates, fees, strategies, finance concepts, like Jeremy is a mortgage wizard, and the way he communicates that is with a total cost analysis. So super important. It's not like, oh, it's about this technology. No, it's about the story and the strategy. And this is the platform in which Jeremy teaches, explains, and walks people through stories and strategies. So let's give Alex asked a great question. I don't know what happened to it. Hang on. By the way, Alex, if you're listening to this call, we've got to get you on a mortgage coach call. I want to interview you. So you're doing great things in social media. Really like what you're doing, buddy. So he said, hey, last week with Dan, remember Jeremy spent a half hour with Dan Keller last week. Check it out if you want to be the best and learn from the best. He said you talked about how you're waking up dormant relationships. Could you expand on that a little bit? So before you do, well, let's just have you answer that question. We got about 8 minutes, but Jeremy, if you could riff on that.
Yeah, so remember, dormant agent definition to me is someone who has not referred you in the last 90 days or someone who has not done a deal with you in the last 6 months. Okay, so that's my definition of a dormant agent relationship.
Everybody's got a lot of those. You got probably more of those than you have people that have referred you within.
100%. I did this exercise and I wanted to throw up. And I haven't even like dug deep into the exercise. I just went off the top of my head and came up with 30 names and I was sick to my stomach, right? So so I just started there, right? So make a list, use that definition. Here's the script. It is so simple, you guys, on how to wake up dormant agents. So Dave, number one is that I gave people the 6 reasons why people become dormant. Bad experience, poor communication and follow-up, difficult working with the team, don't see the value, don't have the business to refer you, and bad experience. Okay, so those are the 6, right? Oh no, excuse me, I gave bad experience twice. Met someone else is the 6th one, right? Shiny object, whatever it may be. So you have to know, and you do know, by the way. Don't give me that BS. I don't know why they're not referring me anymore. It's one of those 6 things, man. The only one that we don't know oftentimes is they don't have the business to refer us because they're just slow. Usually we don't know that, okay? The other one that we could be confused on is like we don't know why they had a bad experience or we don't know why they think it was difficult to work with the team. That's where you can uncover those opportunities. So real simple, here's the script. I'm going to call you, Dave, okay?
Right.
So for the record, I did this. I called 27, okay, dormant relationships in 2 days, 7 appointments face-to-face, by the way, that I scheduled from those 27 calls. Here's what it sounds like. Ring, ring.
Hey, Dave Savage.
Dave Savage.
Whale.
Dave, do you know who this is?
I don't know. Voice sounds familiar. Oh, Jeremy.
Are you kidding me?
What's up, buddy? Okay, what's up?
That's embarrassing, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How you been, buddy?
I've been really, really good, man. Hey, the purpose of my call, you kind of gave me a really easy segue, Dave, is I've made a list of people that I've been in a dormant relationship with, and it's 100% my fault. So I'm literally just calling you today to reconnect. I'd love to get together with you, get caught up. We do not have to talk about business. This isn't a ploy to get deals with you. I just want to reconnect with you because I'm really focused on pouring into relationships with people I like, and you're one of those people. That's it.
It's going to be really hard to say no to anything you say now.
Hey, man. So that script is money, 7 appointments in 1 week, you guys, okay? From 27 calls, that's a very high return on call time, okay?
Well, time out. Did you notice he didn't close everybody? So for anybody who's like, well, what about the person? You know what? He got 7 out of 27. How many people on this call have called 27 dormant realtor relationships? So I'm not going to repeat that script because we're running out of time here and I want to get one more script out of Jeremy.
Hey, so I just want to give you a response real quick. Here's a real response. So this is a response from that voicemail. Okay. So this isn't even someone I talked to. Hey, Jay, it was great to hear from you. We should meet up for coffee and a walk. How about that? I'm up early like always. Let me know your thoughts on your schedule.
Boom.
It works.
Coffee and a walk. So get after that script, guys, and whoever does it, share your betting average back in the Mortgage Coach Facebook group. Let us know if you use that script. If you use any script that Jeremy's doing, bring the value back into the community. Let us know how you're doing. So let's close out in these last 6 minutes. Real quick, guys, I want to remind everybody, Tuesday, 9 o'clock next week, it is Script Palooza, the big event. Going to have 10 plus amazing mortgage professionals, including Jeremy Forcier, and we're going to just be rocking out scripts. So get them all on the list. I've got a post up here with just a crazy number of scripts. Make sure you vote. So there's a poll question at the top right now. Make sure you vote for that. So the last one we're going to give from Jennifer, and she wanted to get some follow-up scripts where the first meeting went awesome. I thought everything was great. Maybe they're warm, maybe they're not, but what are just some follow-up things that you can say and do to, take them from good meeting to referrals and transactions and opportunities?
So I'm going to go a couple different ways with this. Number one is expectation setting in the meeting. Okay, expectation setting in the meeting. So if a meeting went well, it went great, you have to set the expectation right then and there. Okay, so here's what that sounds like. Awesome, Dave, thanks for the time. I really look forward to working with you. I believe that everything is earned, not given. I believe everything is earned, not given. But the only way for me to show you how we work is the opportunity to work with your next 2 clients that you have the ability to refer. So I'm not asking for everything, but just your next 2 clients you have the ability to refer. Do you have anyone you're working with that I can call today?
So let's talk about that. So powerful, ask for something specific. What portion of the people are willing to do that versus now they bring the real objections? You would have never known about these. I bet 90% of you on this call, you're listening to that, you're like, you don't put that kind of pressure. You're just like, hey, do business with me sometime, and now you're just chasing this. So what percentage make the commitment, and what percentage now you get the objection and you're not going to get it?
Dude, no one objects at that.
Really? Everybody does it?
Yeah, because I already went through my 5 questions. This is how I'm closing out the meeting.
Okay, right? So this is when the
context of the question was, hey, the meeting went great. I'm saying if the meeting went great, you guys, it's close time at the end of the meeting. Okay? And it makes follow-up really easier. So now percentage of leads that I get right there, very small. Very small. Someone's not just giving me a lead, right? But the reason why it's important to state it like that, and they say, okay, no, I will absolutely let you know. I don't have anyone right this second. That's awesome. This is the next script. Well, I'll just be checking in with you, right? Every other week. I'm going to put you on an email campaign. You'll receive stuff every other week as well. If you need anything else in between there, please let me know, right? I would be more than happy to hop right on it. So I'm already setting the expectation. I'm going to follow up every other week. Okay. I'm going to follow up every other week. Now, when 2 months goes by and you still haven't got a lead, this is what this sounds like. Dave, it's Jeremy Forcier. How are you?
How you doing, Jeremy?
Dude, I'm doing great, man. Hey, I was just reviewing my meetings from the past month. Dude, we had a great meeting, and I just wanted to follow up because we haven't had any leads come through yet, and I want to make sure that we're working towards working together. Is there anything I can do for you today?
Calling me out? No. Well, obviously, I probably have things. Where does that usually go?
So here's where it usually goes. Here's a common response. I'll play both sides. Ready? I'll look this way when I'm the realtor.
Okay.
Yeah. I've just had a lot of listings. Totally. I get it. You're a great agent. You're listing heavy. Yeah, I know. You're super busy with that. Hey, Dave, let me ask you a question. Do you have any listings coming on in the next 2 weeks? Yeah, I sure do. Hey, which one of those listings needs to be pre-approved for a replacement property, even if it's outside the area?
Boom. You're just going after it. You are now going after, you're mining for opportunities.
Yeah. And guess what they say? You know what? That's a great question. I think I do have someone, but they're buying in Sacramento or wherever. You guys have to remember that we have multiple opportunities as far as range goes, and realtors think in this range. So if they think someone's going to sell their house where I live in Sonoma and relocate to Sacramento, they're not thinking about referring a mortgage person. Okay?
Right.
So you can extract those referrals by asking very specific questions. Here's another script for you on that. Hey, do you have any, excuse me, sorry, I'm talking. Hey, do you have any escrows right now that are past your loan contingency period and they haven't released it yet? Yep, I have one right now that just asked for an extension. I would love to be put in touch with that agent, maybe give it a second look and see if there's something I can do to get those contingencies released right now, or at least help the buyer with their current loan officer. Would you mind introducing me to the other agent?
Boom. So much gold. So
Get
much gold,
specific,
guys.
you guys, get specific.
So guys, there's been so much gold. I want to respect Jeremy's time and calendar. If you got value from this interview, like it. If you have more questions for Jeremy, put them in comments below. Share this with your mortgage friends. Next Tuesday, 9 o'clock Pacific, Script Palooza is going to be going off. You know, Jeremy, we had more scripts to get to, and two, we never got to that Dropbox folder with all your, you know, kind of playbooks from that mastermind with Dan Keller. So let's, if you're game, let's jump on a call and knock that out sometime in the next couple of weeks.
I have really small thumbs, I just realized. Yeah, I'm totally game for that anytime.
All right, guys. Hey, we appreciate you. Have a great week. Remember, this call and why we do this is to help you become your best by learning from the best. So hopefully I know you just learned from one of the best. Make sure you guys study this, take action. Take care, y'all. See you, Jeremy.
Bye.
Thank you, brother.